And welcome into the Ultimate Soccer pre-game. Cavalry FC taking on Orlando City SC. MLS taking on Canadian Premier League in CONCACAF Champions Cup. And if you really want to know, it's Tier 3 taking on Tier 1. It's kind of like David and Goliath, or David versus Goliath. I know a lot of you Cavalry fans are thinking, Steve, how's this one going to play out? I'm going to tell you how it's going to play out. I don't mean to break your hearts either way, either Cavalry or Orlando City SC. And Orlando fans, that's my press badge at Cavalry FC. I hope you can get that in there. Okay. So without that there, I don't get into the game. I can't do my job. But most people at the games know who I am. And that's the Canadian Premier League games at Cavalry FC at Atco Field. A fantastic field, beautiful field. But anyway, just so that you know, Orlando fans, you've got someone on the inside who's going to tell you exactly how this one's going to play out, because someone's got to tell you the story. Someone's got to break your hearts, and I'm going to be the one to do it. And one thing I want to leave you with before we get into this is the Cavalry is coming for you, Orlando. Get ready. Let's get into this right now. Before we move along, though, I'm going to show you a couple of images from Starlight Stadium that you probably haven't seen before, because I tell you what, there's not a lot online. And if you're an Orlando City fan, you know when you've been looking around, you're like, I can't find much. Well, let me tell you this. I am an authority where the CPL, Canadian Premier League, is concerned. I know the stadiums, I know the fan groups, I know the clubs. I sit and I sort of see players in and out of the games, take a look at a few pictures just to let you know that I'm not bullshitting. It's absolute genuine. Before we get into this, some more gossip. No, it's not gossip. This is the real deal. Recently, I made a statement online about not really getting access to what I need. And access to what I need is interviews, such like filming, such like, and getting into places where the media go. And sometimes things don't go well. I'm going to show you a couple of emails. And those were sent to the club. I got great relations with the club, but for some reason, this time around, this didn't get answered. And I want to catalogue this with you, so you know I tried to get Tommy Wheeldon on with an interview. And recently, I had the general manager of the most successful Canadian Premier League team, Jelani Smith, general manager, technical director, director of soccer, Jelani Smith, most successful club in Canada, Canadian Premier League. He was on, goodness of his heart, but I can't get Tommy Wheeldon Jr. on. Now you know. Now you know. So it's not always easy, but you deserve to know the dirt. So moving along. This is David and Goliath. Like I said, taking a quick look at the squads. Go online. I'm going to drop a couple of links down below. I'm not going to sit all night with who's this, who's that, who's this, who's that. What I will do, though, is I'm going to give a bit more information for the Orlando fans, because seeing as I'm wearing this shirt, by the way, I'm going to stand up and show you this right now, because you deserve it to. Now that there, that's the chevron. Cavalry, because there's the badge. Look at the badge. Cavalry FC. So that's the chevron. I picked green simply because I didn't want a red shirt. Look on the back. This is what's on the back. How cool is that, eh? So that's what I'm wearing, the Cavalry FC shirt. You're going to see another shirt here pretty soon. Keep waiting, keep waiting. It's not this color and it's not this club. But I've got to say, if you want to go online and look at the squads, I'll tell you what, I can tell you about new signings if you want, but I want to tell you about where this game is going, because that's the meat and veg. That's what you want to know. By the way, like, subscribe, hit the YouTube, like, subscribe, and notifications, hit them all. Get back here every time. I cover all the Wrexham game. You can see behind me there's a big Wrexham sign there, yeah? And if you don't like Wrexham, well, the other sign says bollocks, and that's the end of that, yeah? I mean, we're here to have a laugh, have a good time, not a bad time. And this semi-final, this David and Goliath, ouch. I think that's the way you got to look at it. I think Orlando, you're in for a really a fun time, and I got to ask you a couple of questions. Like Cavalry fans, I don't want to, you know, make you worried, but how bad could this be? I mean, I heard Tommy talk to One Soccer the other day, and he was pretty much saying that this is their time to prove that collectively they can step up. It's a massive step up. I mean, look, realistically, I love watching Cavalry FC. It's a fantastic group of players. Tommy Wilden's a lovely fella, yeah. And by the way, Leon Hapgood, he's gone to the MLS. Check that out for a story, yeah. He's going to be coaching in the MLS as an assistant, but he's left the CPL, yeah. And there will be cameras on the field to film the games this year. I know Media Pro's been in a bit of a problem with Canadian CSA and yada, yada, yada. That's another story, but there will be coverage of the games. Don't worry. So keep that on mind. So looking at this one, how bad can it get? How bad can it get? You see, upsets are not normally going to happen over two legs. If you're going to have an upset, a real cup upset, it's a one gamer. It's like a final, yeah? And in a final, you've had upsets in finals before. So you don't normally get an upset over two games because that's 180 minutes plus however long the referees want to tack on, which is getting ludicrous nowadays. They should like squash extra time and just go 90 minutes, you're done. You're done. I mean, what? They want to make extra beer sales and extra TV licensing and, more subscribers. I mean, come on. There comes a time where it's getting stupid. As for stupid, the blue card, I give that blue words, mate. Blue words to the blue card. I'll be talking about the blue card pretty soon. Next show up. You want to come back for that one. But this one here, how bad can it get? Like I say, upsets are normally one gamers. And basically, if Orlando wins this over two legs, it's business as usual. It's nothing big. Champions Cup will get big in round two for Orlando. But this is not a massive matchup. And they're going to go to a little island, Vancouver Island, which is lovely. And I'll tell you now, that game being in Vancouver Island has really pissed off a lot of Cavalry FC fans. Really pissed off a lot of the fans. They were so looking forward to playing Orlando at Atco Field, the home field. So basically, it's left a bad smell, a bad taste, and a black eye with a lot of the fans that I've talked to because they're really not happy with the way this was handled. Tack on last season when they won the trophy, the Shield, won the league, and then they waited two games pretty much before they would parade it in front of the fans. That's another black eye. That's another one they didn't think about at Cavalry FC. So going into this one with the game where it is, I don't think you'll see that many Cavalry fans make the journey because it's a long way to go. And, times are hard. Money's money, yeah? And this is just not a game where people are saying Cavalry's going to win it. Hey, the team's going to go into it and give it all. And don't kid yourself. Tommy will get them ready as much as he can. But the cream always rises to the top. And in this event, David is not going to slay Goliath because Goliath being the cream, being Orlando City SC, they're going to just take this over two legs. How bad could it be? After the first game in Starlight. Starlight Stadium is a tiny little stadium. Maximum 6,000 is what they give it. How are you going to get 6,000 people in there? It's tiny. I mean, 6,000? Come on. You look where it's going in Orlando Stadium. Absolutely gorgeous. Take a look at that. Beautiful stadium. But, so what am I saying? I'm saying you got a big league coming into a little league. And no disrespect to the CPL and the Canadian Premier League, but it is a little league and it's just starting out. And they should never have called it the Canadian Premier League. They should have called it the Canadian what? What would you think was a good name? Canadian what? And I've said this to a lot of people. I've said, you've got the major league in USA. I said, Canada should have made their professional top league the Canadian Major League Soccer. That's what they should have done right from the off. And also, 20 years ago, when I was working at TSN, when I was starting out at TSN going live, a guy called Bryn Griffiths asked me one question. He goes, Steve, what's Canada got to do to get ahead in soccer? I went, it's pretty simple, Bryn. It's really simple through my eyes. I said, what you need to do is you need to jump in with the Americans, with the US and their Major League Soccer. I says, and you need four teams. I said, two in the East, two in the West. So eventually in the off season, we can have a Canadian Cup and battle down between four big teams. I said, but don't have a Canadian league. There's no money for it. You don't have enough fans for it. You don't have enough locations where it's going to thrive. And putting a big team in a little area ain't going to do it. And I've said this live, and I've got this on a disc somewhere. I can bring it up. I said, all you need is four teams in Major League Soccer. That's it. And that'll be a great target in every area for kids that think they've got it to aim off at. I said, but don't build your own league. I said, too many have tried, too many have failed. It's not going to work. Geographically, this country's too big to have a league of its own. So stay with the Americans and do the right thing. Their league is thriving. Major League Soccer one day will be the #1 league in the world. People said, you're crazy, Steve, 20 years ago when I said that. I went, yeah, watch the future. What's Major League Soccer looking like right now, yeah? It's looking like it's becoming one of the best leagues in the world. And look at America, the US team, USA. They don't normally have a problem getting to World Cups, and their national team has always got good players who know to think the game, to play the game, waste the clock, kick you when you're not moving. All the little things in the game, the US players know. So, battling it down. If Cavalry win, it's a major upset of historical proportion.
Wow.
But if Orlando win, it's just business as usual. The squads, when you look at the two squads, there's no comparison. It's third tier, first tier. But like I said, there's a lot in there what I'm saying. On the game, I would say this much. It's going to be a little bit of a chilly night for the Orlando players. I'm joking, obviously. It's not going to be snowing. It's not going to be bitter cold like it could have been in Calgary, which incidentally, when Canada was qualifying for the World Cup, the last World Cup, they played Costa Rica, Mexico in Edmonton in the snowy, icy conditions. And they won both games. Why would you give up that advantage over a team that plays in such a beautifully lovely, warm climate? Yeah. Let them freeze their asses off and beat them at your own game. But no, they've moved this game 1,000 k's away. So I'm pushing that point because Cavalry fans are not happy, guys. So you Orlando fans, get ready in for this one. Game one, I'm saying this much. If Cavalry can get in this game and really have a chance, it's because they know this field. I'm telling you now, the field at Starlight Stadium is not fantastic. It is not fantastic, and I don't think you guys are going to like it. But hopefully you get some time in there to get used to it because it doesn't bounce really great. And it's a small, tiny little stadium, not what you are used to. Orlando's are used to beautiful fields. It's not grass. It's artificial. And like I say, it's not a great field. That really does play into Calgary's, I would say, advantage because they played on that field a few times and they know the field. So there's one little advantage that they may well have. Number two, there won't be massive of fans from either team. I think you'll see a lot of neutral fans getting at that game. Yes, you're going to see a sprinkling of the foot soldiers. And if you see that FS above my head, that's a foot soldier scarf. And you're going to see some 109ers there. That's the other scarf too, because they're from Canadian Soccer Club, Cavalry FC, Ultras groups. So they're going to be there. But they won't be there in the numbers that they would have been if it was at Cove Field. At the end of the day, if I have to say how this is going to go, there's two ways this can end up after the first leg. You should be putting your money on Orlando over two legs. That's what I'm saying. But after the first leg, knowing what I know about the Calgary team and how well organized they are and knowing what the strengths and the weaknesses are, I think in this game, the weakness is going to be up front. Trying to get a goal against Orlando is going to be a lot of work. Defensively, I don't know if they're going to be up to it to keep Orlando off the board all through. But here's the thing. Both teams are not flowing going in the league system. They're both about to get ready into their leagues, whether that be Canadian Premier League or Major League Soccer in the US. The good thing about Orlando, though, they've already had 5 friendly games against top teams. I'll tell you what, I'm going to look at these top teams that they played against because I'll tell you what, you need to hear this, but there's some big teams that they played against. I think when you see or hear the names, here we go. First game was Flamengo from Brazil. That was a 1-1. Orlando City taking on FIFA Panthers. 3-1 win there. They took on Rhode Island FC. Not the massive, but they win 3-1. New England Revolution. They win 3-1. Houston Dynamo. They win 1-0. Orlando's been playing a lot of games getting ready for this one. Not Calgary. Not Calgary. Scrimmaging, getting ready. No big games there. Nothing happening. That tells you another thing as well. At the end of the day, I'm looking probably... not being unkind, but I would expect this is a 2-goal game. That's either 2-0 to Orlando on the day or possibly a 3-1. Anything else, you have to say, if it goes the other way and it's worse, it's a 5-1 or a 6-1, which let's hope it's not. But if it goes the other way, it really does mean that Cavalry FC knows the conditions they're in, knows the field, and has played out of their skins and has done their homework. And this ultimately is going to be a test for Tommy Wheeldon Jr. to see how good he is in the international or intercontinental game. Because I tell you this, Mr. Pereira, the coach of Orlando, Oscar Pereira, I tell you, this guy started at Independiente Medellin. And he's come a long way. And this guy is a mountain of a coach. So after 90 minutes plus, I expect the scoreline should be Cavalry 0, Orlando City SC 2, or 1 Calgary, 3 Orlando. That's what I'm looking at. Anything else? David has kicked Goliath in the Gunyons and get ready for game 2. And will Calgary's beautiful team, Cavalry FC, be in the second game? Or will it all be done after 1 game? That's what I'm saying. You've heard what I've said. Tell me what you're thinking down below. And how many of you Orlando fans are going to this game? And how many Cavalry fans eventually are going to this game as well? Good luck to both. Like I say, I think that David is going to get boshed by Goliath. And it's going to be Orlando going to round 2. Maybe after 1 game, hopefully not, but definitely after 2. Not meaning to hurt anybody's feelings, but I just tell you the truth. Get ready for it. I'm going to be watching it. I hope you are too. Cheers.